Sound booth, are we ready to roll? All right. So we're getting ready to start one of our 2 afternoon keynote presentations. So as we roll into the room, I'm just going to sit here and stall for a moment. Don't forget there is a conference app that you can download from your local app store. We are going to have a reception immediately following the 2 keynotes. It's going to be a champagne reception in the ballroom. Then we have a 12-foot tall alien stilt walker is going to lead us in a walking parade to the offsite venue Gold Spike. All right, so yeah, it's the never dull moment at LavaCon. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. And one of the things we're always trying to do is do more with less. How can we be more efficient, more productive? So Abhishek Jain, who is the product manager for technical communication products at Adobe, is going to be talking about how to do more with less and increase your return on investment.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for that lovely introduction. Hello and welcome everyone to this session. My name is Abhishek and today we will be talking about doing more with less and increase your ROC. Well, ROI sounds familiar, but what is ROC? No points for guessing it right, it's return on content. What I really mean by return on content, we'll just get to know in a little while. It's a short 20 minutes session and there's a small disclaimer to it. We will not be talking about any fancy stuff. We will be talking about very, very basic things, which if done right can work wonders. We are all technical communicators in business for producing technical content. And we are very passionate about what we generate as output. But very often, in the hustle of executing things on a day-to-day basis, we stop questioning what we are doing. We just follow the status quo, and that's where sometimes we tend to lose the glory of our profession. We are most often seen as cost center, but we bring good return on investment for the business by reducing support calls, by often generating leads for the business, and whatnot. So we are relevant, we are important. Let's see how we can make it better. So very quickly, some things about myself. Jack already introduced. My name is Abhishek Jain. I'm the product manager for Adobe TechCom products. I manage products like Adobe RoboHelp, FrameMaker, and we have the Technical Communication Suite. I'm responsible for product strategy and roadmap. I manage our partner ecosystem and the customer relationships. Well, in this session, we are not going to talk about our products. It's only about the processes and some basic little things which, if done right, can work wonders. Let's try to understand what is there. So we'll be talking about 3 very basic levers. How to go lean. Lean is a term we all are familiar with, coined by Toyota as a process, as a methodology in 1980s, and has been interpreted in various directions, in all different possible directions by different businesses. We'll try to understand what it means for our business, what it means for technical communicators. Basically, it's a simple cycle of PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. But we'll try to understand how it applies to our business in today's session, real quick. Second thing followed by that is measuring. Knowledge is power. How analytics can work for your business. What are the key matrices to measure and how to learn from them and improve your content. And the last thing is engage the most important person in the value chain, our lovely end users. How we can improve the system by engaging them, by curating the feedback that we receive from our end users and improve our system iteratively. So as I mentioned, we'll be talking about 3 basic levers, and let's start with the first one. Let's try to learn the what, why, and how of lean. First of all, let's try to understand why do we need to go lean. Well, budgets are always shrinking. We try to do a lot of surveys, ask our user community, and get a feel of whether investments are increasing in this direction or are they stable. So good 72% people reported that either these are stable budgets or these are reducing. So with that in mind, the work is always increasing. There is more work to do, more deadlines to meet, more locales to take care of, more formats to publish our content to, and all with restrained resources. So business is always demanding efficiency out of us. That is the call of the hour. And very often we find ourselves in this situation. We're trying to pack too much stuff in our bags and it doesn't look lovely. So the answer is lean. Yeah, it's a simple word, but what it means in our context is two basic things. Avoid waste, iterate quickly. When we say avoid waste, what really we mean by saying that? Well, there are two kinds of waste. One is in terms of content bloat. We are writing unnecessary stuff which is not really required. When we start asking the question whether this piece of content that I'm writing is really useful, is it really going to solve a complicated problem, or is it just about filling a simple form that a user can just fill by reading the form? A lot of things are self-explanatory. They probably do not need that comprehensive documentation. And the second thing is about waste in process. The very traditional DDLC, the document development lifecycle, that makes you go through tons of reviews, a lot of times redundant stuff, a lot of times teams are working in silos and generating redundant stuff. So all that need to optimize and the processes needs to be more lean and linear. And the second part is about rapid iterations. Lean doesn't tell you that build the thing right first time. It tells you iterate quickly, make mistakes, fix them, and do not repeat them. Avoid a very minimalistic approach to creating content. Well, let's try to understand what is that minimalistic approach. So this is an indicative slide. Please do not take that literally, but I come from a software development background and we have a concept of creating minimum viable products. What MVPs mean? Creating a viable product with every iteration. Please note there is special underline on viable. So at every stage, whenever we churn out content, we need to ensure that that piece is deliverable, it's usable by the customer, and it's a viable output. In this example, let's try to see if the objective of a user is to get from point A to point B in an efficient manner. There's a first approach, which is on the upper half of this picture, where you're building a car, you put a wheel together, you put two wheels together, connect them with an axle, develop a body, assemble it all together in the form of a car, and there we go. At the last stage, we have a happy customer. But throughout those stages, the product was not really usable. Let's try to see what else can be done. If we see the second approach, we start with a skateboard kind of an arrangement, which is usable right from the first stage. And then we give it a handle so that a person can maneuver. We put a small chain around it, build it like a bicycle. We put a small engine, make a motorbike out of it, and eventually we have a car which is as efficient as stage A. But the difference there is that it is usable from the first stage. As I mentioned, this is an indicative thing, but it's just to convey the message that build a product in phases. Phase the entire thing in and try to break it into different phases. What is more important? What are the first things that people would want to know if they start using the product? And then asking the right questions. What is the purpose of this documentation that we are writing? You'll be able to phase it into different pieces and then deliver in those pieces so that the content is more relevant at every stage. We call that the minimum viable content, and that's how you'll be able to stay lean and produce everything that is more relevant at that particular point of time. Now, while you're doing all this with distributed teams, people are scattered all over the globe, collaboration becomes much more important. And we are not just saying this, data is saying the same thing. So we do annual surveys and we take insights from a lot of other industry surveys, which tell us that collaboration, the need for collaboration has been increasing by the day, by the hour. So 60% of our respondents say that the need for collaboration is consistent, whereas a good 30% say that it is ever increasing. So people feel the need of engaging their subject matter experts, the fellow technical authors, and they all need to work collaboratively. So what is needed in order to achieve that? You need basically good review processes. What are the basic essential things in order to put a good review process in place? First thing, when you're reviewing content, your reviewing process needs to have a close resemblance to the actual output. For instance, if you're generating PDFs, then your transient stage PDFs need to look as good as the end product so that the reviewers can visualize how this is going to look like and provide you appropriate feedback. If you're going to generate online help, then basically that transient review process needs to look as good as the end output. So basically, even the transient stage need to be better. Second thing, there should be consistent iteration of the flow. So authors should be able to disseminate the information to the fellow reviewers. They should be able to provide feedback, and there should be a central repository on which a common source is being acted upon by all parties. It should not be the way that sometimes we generate a Word document, send it via emails to different people, they download the PDF or the Word document, provide comments, somebody is aggregating contents, people end up working on different versions. Nothing of that sort. It's important that everybody is operating on a central copy which is managed in a shared repository. Last and most important thing is the process should enable conversations between different reviewers. They should be able to annotate on the same source, and one person should be able to see what the other person is saying. Very often there are complicated things that are going on, and everybody might not agree to everything written out there. They might have divergent views which do not necessarily align. So there should be a way that somebody is commenting on that, other people can argue with that until they settle down on common denomination. So your review platform should enable conversation between fellow reviewers. People should be able to come or arrive at a conclusion after fruitful discussions on a platform. So these are the three essential pillars that any tool should satisfy your needs when it comes to putting a review process in place. So that was about review. We talked about measurement. We talked about analytics, because knowledge is power. So we should try to understand our customers. When we say analysis, what are the really key matrices to measure? We should be able to see what are the most and least frequently visited topics, where people are frequently coming for help, and what are the no-brainers which never ever get any traffic. There can be multiple reasons for that. Either the content is not searchable, or people just don't need it, and some of the things are very, very difficult to find. So that might be a reason that they are attracting least traffic, or another reason is they are just not needed. Where the traffic is coming from, are people frequently hitting the F1 button, getting through the context-sensitive help, or they're just Googling for stuff, or they know the exact URL. They just type your URL and then figure out what they need to do. What locale is getting consumed more? If you have zilch traffic coming from Iceland, well, time to optimize your cost and reduce your localization cost. So these things are very, very important to measure. Which device the traffic is coming from. So analytics today enables you to figure out whether the content is coming from a mobile device, from an iPad, or from a laptop. So that should help you devise your content strategy. What is the average time people are spending on every topic? And how is the multimedia consumption? Do people really like watching videos, or they like reading tall documents? So these are the very, very essential statistics that you should measure, and then pivot your offering so that you are able to stay more relevant and stay very lean and cost effective for your business. And in turn, you can feed all these insights back to the product team. Let's say somebody is trying to search single sign-on for a product and it doesn't even exist. Well, time to get back with this knowledge to the product team so that they can build more relevant products for the market. So you just don't act like a cost center, but you add value to the business by feeding these insights back to the business. Last thing, we talked about engaging the most important person in the value chain, the end users. So content these days is a two-way street. Earlier, the content cycle used to be linear. You author, you collaborate with your SMEs, and you publish the content. But these days, it's all about engaging your end users, analyzing the feedback, curating your content, and then authoring it again. So it's more cyclic in nature. So we don't say that, the numbers tell us the same story. So in our surveys, close to 42% of our respondents say they are planning to use user engagement, 31% are either using or planning to use analytics, and 20% are the more radical ones. They are going down the Wikipedia model where they are allowing users to create content, review it, and make it live. So the need of the hour, the call of the duty is to be more customer-centric. Try to walk a mile in customer shoes. Try to consume your own output, whether it's searchable, is it relevant, can you actually read the entire thing and digest it, and take useful insights out of that. Make your content usable and easily searchable. And while you're doing all these things, please rest assured you won't be able to please everyone, but still show some love to your customers. Keep trying to incorporate and factor in their feedback. And the doctor is within. Incorporate feedback and rating into your products. Very often you would have seen, do you find it useful thingy? And if no, gather their feedback. Try to pivot your offerings and keep making it better and better. Bringing it all together, the technical communicator for today should be able to provide content to the user wherever they are, whether they are coming from a mobile device, from an iPad, from a desktop, in whatever form it is needed. You should focus just not on creating content, but also on efficiencies. And the last thing, engaging with the audience and becoming more and more analytical. These are the simple things. These are like telling you if you have green tea every day, you'll have lower cholesterol, you'll burn fat faster, you'll be more fit. So it's as simple as that, and just start incorporating. How to do that? Try to catch the low-hanging fruits. So this graph has effort versus impact, and the left side of it is low effort, and the higher you go is high impact. So try to catch those things which have a higher impact and they are very low on effort. For instance, improving searchability of your content, or fixing those things which are most frequently visited. So if you analyze the consumption of your content, you'll be able to figure out what are the low-hanging fruits. Fix them first so that people are embracing the changes that you're making, and then eventually go for the high-effort things. And then basically this matrix helps you put together a work plan to improve the things. And as people say, just like fine wine, if you keep doing the right things, a healthy health system improves with age. The thing is to keep doing the right things and keep doing all over again. So that was the message. I hope I can add some value by talking about very simple stuff that, if done right, can work wonders and bring amazing return on your content. Thank you.